Welcome, and what a privilege to be with you all. And I'm likely to cry, so just bear with me. That's just what happens when I'm doing anything useful. And washing
the dishes.
Yes, it can happen spontaneously at any moment. But I'm knocked sideways by you two. And if I did have a plan for what we were going to do, it's gone. So now we're in total no man's land because I'm a middle-class white British woman who grew up playing cowboys and Indians. And in my ignorance and my indoctrination and my conditioning, I knew nothing. And I still feel like I know nothing. And it horrifies me, and it devastates me. And I want us all to stand up, please, and acknowledge the 14 survivors, which is a number that just I cannot make peace with in this moment. But 14 of you survived, and thank God for your blood, and thank God for your courage, and thank God for your resilience, and thank God for your wisdom, and thank God you're still with us, and you're fighting the fight, and you're doing it with grace and without the desire for revenge. And I can only imagine what that feels like and what you've gone through. And I actually just want us to bow. Can we just bow to those 14 that are represented here and acknowledge the immensity of that? It's immense, and it's so important. And to start with you feels like a tiny justice, but a justice that I kind of want to underline with our gratitude for you, and to say thank you for enduring and for bringing. You know, you are our hope. You are the way home for those of us that have been severed. You know, we've all suffered, and we've suffered in our persecution of you. We've done so much damage to what's possible for humanity, and that's why it's so incredibly important that you're still with us, and that you're standing, and that you're unified, and yeah, just deepest gratitude for you, really.
Give you a hug now. Oh, well, we all need each other. We need each other.
We need each other. We do.
That's the only way to heal is if everybody comes together.
Yeah.
You are our hope
too, Claire. All of you. Well, blast everyone's ear.
It matters so much. It hurts so much. My God. So, thank you. And I think what we have to do after that is waggle our backsides. So, and I mean like properly waggle. This is like, we need buttocks actually slapping together. Like properly. If your buttocks are not slapping, you're not trying. And real like hands, like let's move this. Okay, and not sitting yet. You're going to raise your hands, and you're going to become giant kelp. And you're going to feel your fingertips in the ocean. You're spreading your hands up to the light, and you're swaying, and you're feeling the support of the ocean and the miracle of the sunlight. And you're going to breathe out, and you're going to really enjoy the sensuality of being kelp. There is a verb, to kelp. He kelps, she kelps, we kelp. We are kelping. And then as you descend into your chair, you're going to allow your backsides to meet the chair for the very first time, and you're going to discover your backsides, and it's going to be so pleasurable. So, like, focus on the pleasure of sinking slowly and then finding your bottoms and just going, oh my God, I've got a bottom, it's a miracle. God bless bottoms. Okay, here we go. Can I find a slide? Oh! So, what should we do? So, life happens. And here we are. And we are for whatever reason, incarnate at one of the most radical times in human history. The most radical bit has yet to come, but I think it's probably in the next 5 years. I think we're walking straight into absolute chaos. And I think we've incarnated because we want to be here. We'll all have very different belief systems around, you know, why we're here, our karmas, our choices at a soul level, what's coincidence. I just don't really believe in coincidence. I think there is an immense intelligence that's running the show. And we're all facets of that intelligence. And we're here to remember who and what we are and why we are. And it's not what we've been taught, and it's not what we've been conditioned with. This is not what humanity is supposed to be. It's just not. We are made of this planet. She is in us. We are her. We're breathing her. She's breathing us. We've got oceans and rivers and rain in our blood. We're made of the rocks and the fire, and we act as if somehow we're superior. It's so upside down as to be astonishing. It's like, but the amazing thing about being lost is being found. So we're the ones who are standing at that point of greatest lostness where untruth is like prevailing, which means the flip from radical bullshit to radical truth is sitting in our hands. And the thing is, we're encoded with it because we're not bullshit. And we're not designed for lies. We're designed to ring with truth. You know, we're designed with a truth because we are the truth, because we are nature, we are it all. Therefore, deep down in the marrow of our bones and our blood, we are pulsating with the truth of the natural world and our essential intimacy with it, because we can't not be that, because we are it. Therefore, we've just got to deal with this weird ego crap that is so well indoctrinated, and then the conditioned traumas that we've got bedded down like sedimentary rock in our systems that feel so pervasive and that contort us and contract us into what we're not. But the good news is we're not that. We're not that. And consciousness on this planet is accelerating. And therefore, we've got greater and greater access to the truth of ourselves with less and less need for endlessly talking about our mothers. You know, endlessly dwelling on all the awful things that have happened to us. It's like the capacity for it to fall away is increasing. Just like stuff, it's just stuff. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters is the stuff that's rising, that is the truth, that is the sacred spring of what a human actually is. I was given TreeSisters in a car crash. Obviously, I'm not somebody that can get the subtle things, so they make it really not very subtle. But it was an interesting moment because I was swerving on ice and I was heading for an edge and a tree stopped me. So the greatest metaphor from that, which actually took me 4 years to realize because I'm not very fast either, is trees can help humanity stop going over an edge. Reforestation could save us were we to fall back in love with the trees. And I was given the project word for word. A voice started talking to me, and it was just, this is what it is, TreeSisters, this is what it's for. And it is a women's movement, but it's not a women's movement that disqualifies men. It's a women's movement that is asking for the feminine principle to be reinstated, and that involves all of us. But it's an understanding that the men have been as conditioned away from what it means to be a man, which is somebody that has the feminine embedded within them, as women have been conditioned away from what it means to be a woman, which is somebody whose body flows with the cycles of life and therefore has the wisdoms of the cycles of life deeply encoded within us. And it took me a while to say yes to this because I was told a few things which were all immense and extremely frightening. One, you have to reforest the tropics within 10 years. 2, you have to mobilize the women are the missing piece. 3, call everything you do an experiment because you can't fail an experiment, you can only learn. That was brilliant. That's the why TreeSisters exists, because every time I go, I can't do it, my team go, it's an experiment, you can't fail. Pick yourself up, let's have another go. Make it as normal to give back to nature as it currently is to take nature for granted. That is huge. That's what we call the shift from an unconscious consumer species to a conscious restorer species. That's a complete 180 for humanity. We've been conditioned to be consumers, which is barbaric and soulless and endlessly destructive. And we have to turn it around, because I believe our natural relationship with humanity is sacred reciprocity, with nature, sacred reciprocity. You do not take without giving back, and you do not take without doing it consciously and respectfully. Women have to remember who and what they are. That's almost more frightening. Feminine consciousness has to be reinstated or it's over. Okay, those were the operating instructions of TreeSisters. It's colossal. And I said no, sorry, wrong person, got the wrong person. Absolutely not. But it wouldn't leave me alone, and then 9 months later, after a proper pregnancy, and everything I did up to that point failing, I said, okay, I get it, I'm doing something wrong, what is it? And back came, you can do all of that, all the stuff I'd been trying to do, but you do it through the women. So I said, okay, tell me what a tree sister is. And back came the same voice, only happened twice, male again, still being told what to do by the man. Okay. It's a woman who makes 5 choices. To be considerate of life, encouraging of her sisters, intimate with nature, responsible for its upkeep, courageous with her gifts. And I went, ooh, it's a 5-pointed star. And I ran home and I drew a 5-pointed star, which that would be, except it looks like the front of a Dan Brown novel. And I said, where do they belong? And they said, consideration in the head, encouragement in the left arm, intimacy in the left leg, responsibility in the right leg, and courage in the right arm. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, it kind of makes sense. But then I went to bed. And 3 weeks later, I sat up in the middle of the night and I went, oh my God, it's 5-element acupuncture. And I went back downstairs and I looked at it. And I sat there, and it was the in-breath of the heart, our relational capacity to love and be with each other. The in-breath of the body, the truth of our indivisibility from nature. The mind as servant leader to the heart and the body. That's the feminine principle. If we are bowing to the heart and the body, or the body of nature, how we live will take care of self, other, and nature. If we are taking care of self, other, and nature, and coming back into right relationship with all things, out of that profound alignment comes deeper connection to ourselves and the giving of our gifts, which then supports the awakening and the gathering and the dropping into connection and the shifting into right relationship and the giving of our gifts, which supports the, and I was just like, oh my God. And there it was. The feminine comes first. And I got it. That's why women. That's what we're holding. We've been living in this world where this has been down. The feminine has been down for thousands of years, and it's even been in, you know, you go into the rainforest in the Amazon and the women are still subjugated. It's like it's been this weird, pervasive, strange manifestation on this planet for thousands of years. Okay, so this has been some sort of a bizarre experiment around what does it mean to subjugate the feminine. 3% of global giving goes to women in the environment, the life givers of everything. Nothing else can survive without the life givers, and yet we give to everything that's not that. Highly symbolic of a lack of self-love at the systemic level, the consciousness level. But when this is down, when we're not tuned into the mystery, when we're not bowing to the more that is there, that is almost everything, and when we're not listening to the heart, women were so emotional, just shut them up. You know, women, they're so emotional, cut out their wombs, they're hysterical, let's have hysterectomies. You know, women, let's burn them at the stake. Let's do what we absolutely can to tell them that you have to be a certain way in order to survive because you are so sub the male. What we carry as white women who originate in Europe, we're the descendants of those that survived 300 years of radical persecution, torture. You had to be tortured 3 times before they put you to death publicly. And in that time, women were sending each other down, so we're also the betrayers. We wonder why there's such difficulty between women. The depth of our love for each other and our fear of each other, competition, betrayal, all of that, because it's not been dealt with. Centuries of horror that basically says, if you have any power as a woman, if you have any sense of connection to yourself or to nature, you will die. When's that been dealt with? So, in a world that does not know how to bow to creation, that does not know how to bow to the human heart, thinks that emotions are basically get in the way of work and productivity, that cannot honor the body, because if it did, we wouldn't be able to trash our planet. Then we have the masculine completely out of balance. When this body, when our felt sense of our indivisibility is gone, the root of our knowing is gone, the root of everything that we are as a planetary being, which is what we are, is gone. That is a spiritual bankruptcy that leaves such a vast gap. The action that we use to deal with it is to consume. Responsibility, that's what this is. The flip of it is irresponsibility. Consume your way out of the emptiness. We need more stuff. We need more and more and more stuff to fill the gap. And then instead of being able to step into our own gifts, we celebrate those people that have got the most stuff. We celebrate the celebrities. We celebrate the people who have the most money and the most stuff, because they're doing the best job of filling the hole. So how do we get ourselves out of this mess? I would love, because you're all psychology bubs, I'd love to go into this is such an extraordinary map. 15 minutes in. Thank you very much. Because like 5-element acupuncture, there's 2 cycles. There's a shadow and a light. Actually, you can find this on our website, hopefully. We're just redoing the website, so we're kind of in this kind of like straddling place of, if you are willing to wake up, first step, are you willing to wake up? Are you willing to be honest about what's going on in this planet? If you are, likely it will throw you into the actual full tilt. Oh my frigging God, the species are going, the oceans are warming, the ice caps are going. It's like, you know, if you're not crying, you're not awake. If you are crying, what it'll do, if you let it break you, and I am Queen Snot, like this is my ultimate gift, is the more I cry, the more creative I am. Because in this map, and I worked with this with groups of women all around the world for 2.5 years before coming out with it in the same flow again and again, which is 5-element acupuncture. Our systems work like this. This is ancient. It'll throw you from your grief and your horror straight into your courage. Oh, I have to do something. Ah! And that, what is it that I've got to do to get to the masses? This is the collective of us, so that we can take action for the awakening. And so this one, that's really strong. It's incredibly strong. And there's only 2 things you need to do. Be prepared to get honest and wake up and look at it, see it how it is, and then feel the reality. Let it have you. If you're doing numb, disconnected, which is what the shadow of this is, nothing. The shadow of this, disconnection, numbness, this is all substance abuse, shopaholism, addiction to blah, 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 all that stuff. That holds you hostage. This isn't possible. That's the controller of this. If you want your gifts let loose, let your snot flow. If you find yourself crying and then you find yourself going, you are preventing your courage. I'm really serious. Like, this is not a British humor moment. This is serious. This is why we are in the mess that we are in, because there is so much trauma in the body of this planet and our bodies. And unless we are willing to feel it, and in the feeling of it, not run away from it, but close the gap through the alchemical process of putting your consciousness into that thing that is desperate to be felt out of existence, it closes the gap. And when it closes the gap, then we have our brilliance available to us. Because out of a fractured state into a healed state, you're powerful. You are powerful. But when you're like, nothing, you're fighting your brilliance. We can't afford for a single person in this room to be fighting their brilliance. Your brilliance is begging to be lived. It's there saying, live me, live me, live me. And if something frightens you, that's where you go. That's where you go. What frightens you is the gateway to your power, because it's the strongest parts of you that have been squashed at the most important ages, asking for your attention to be liberated. I want to talk about this for about an hour. I won't, but I want to. I want to. So what's our way out? Our way out is to bow, reveal, revelation. I know nothing. I don't know what it means to be a human being. As soon as I know what it means to be a human being, I'm a closed system. As soon as I don't know what it means to be a human being, I'm an open system. As soon as I'm sure about anything, I'm closed. As soon as I'm curious and vulnerable and not knowing, I'm available for life to go, oh, thank God she's paying attention. Now let me actually provide her with some truth. Because we're surrounded by truth, and it's not in here. It's in here. It's in here. It's in here. It's not in here. It's really in here. These parts are the closest to the earth. Try listening to your feet more often. Bowing. You know, as a psychotherapist, when you're sitting with somebody and they're just like, ah, you're not supposed to know what to do with them. They're supposed to know what to do with them. Your job is to hold them safely in a contained, safe way so that they make friends with their emotions, so that their emotions can tell them what to do. We know what to do. It's in us. We are it. We know our way home. We just need space held for us to find that thing, to be validated in the precarious journey home to our truth. And our truth may be nothing like what our parents want to hear or our culture agrees with. And especially now, if our culture does agree with us, we're not on the right path. If people don't look at you as if you're mad, you're not there. Our way out is love. The reinstatement of the feminine principle, and it makes me want to cry. That's when I know I'm talking truth. To reinstate the feminine principle, we have to open our heart. Not, I'll love you if. I'll love you because. I love you because you're standing right in front of me, and inside you, no matter what bullshit you're telling yourself, is complete magnificence. And I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to love you from that place in myself. And that's my commitment. That's my commitment to the sisterhood that I'm growing around the world. We have a culture that is very, very specific, and it's based on what we call sistering. You look for the beauty in another from the highest place in yourself. And if you're really lost in your bullshit, even more important to forget what you're feeling and look for the beauty in another, and allow that looking for the beauty in another to call you back into the beauty that is the truth of you, and then let that relationship, that circuit that runs between two people who are choosing to be present with each other, no matter how fundamentalist Christian they are, or how Republican they are, or how whatever the hell they are that you just don't understand, underneath all of that is a beautiful human being. And our job is to find that. Our job is to hold space for that, no matter how wacko, the people that are blowing themselves up, you know, oh my God, we can judge them to, you know, or we can say, wow, that much pain expresses that much love. You know, we can think in a way that is so dramatically inclusive, or we can think in a way that is completely exclusive. The time of exclusive is over. The time of exclusive is over. Okay, we're going to do a thing. This may or may not work. We're going to raise a hand. We're going to be half kelp. Now, the reason we're doing this is because I want you to find a partner, and I'd like you to do this in silence. I'd like you to go find a partner and stand with them, and while your hand is up, you haven't found a partner. So as soon as you do find a partner, put your hand down so that those that are still looking can find someone. And go find them and stand in front of them and just gaze at them like they're the most beautiful creature you've ever seen. And keep your mouth closed, please. And then I'm going to help us through a process. I had promised myself and you all 10 minutes of question and answers. I have failed. Quite spectacularly. We have 2 minutes until my time is up. And the title of this talk was called Listening into Leadership. I thought that was a really good title. That was really good. Because if our leadership, if what comes through us isn't arising from a place of deep, connected listening to the more that we are, that is trying to remind us in every moment our limitlessness, our capacity for intimacy and love, that everything that we do and are needs to be in direct relationship to, you can imagine it, self, other, and nature. It's not it. And the masculine in us is like, what's your purpose? What's your mission? What are you here for? Shh. I'm listening. Let me listen. The women need to take our place as the listeners. That's not to say that men can't listen. You absolutely can, but you also need to listen to us. You need to allow for the embodied feminine to have her place at the table. For all things to be considered, for the masculine and feminine to be in dynamic, respectful relationship with each other. You know, in that beautiful map that we were given, the feminine comes first in all of us. We have to bow to the wisdom of the heart that will only take care of each other, and we have to bow to the wisdom of the nature that we are so that we can only take care of our planet. The masculine is there to husband life into fullness. A planet that reinstates the feminine is going to be a planet that survives. It's going to be a planet that treasures life and ensures that every single one of our choices serves future generations, because that's all we could do if we cared about life more than money. There is only one future for us as things stand. There's only one future. It's coming really fast, and it means we're going to go out on shopping. That is an absolute insult to everyone that has come before us and everything that they've gone through. We cannot allow that to be our future. We are the ones, all of you here, if everyone in here fully allowed their brilliance to come through, we could change this world. There's enough of us. This is all it takes. It's just enough guts and enough fierce love. You know, people say to me, gosh, you're just so fearless. And I'm like, I'm terrified all the time. But I'm fierce. You know, what's more important to me, my inadequacies and my bullshit, or the planet that I'm desperately in love with? She's going to win every time. And this is like, oh, but it's just okay, I hear you. So let's take 30 seconds for questions. Has anybody got something really wise and intelligent to say at this point? No pressure. Can we have 5 minutes, 3 minutes? 1 minute. Oh, God, I've totally screwed up. Okay.
Where do you live? Where do you do your work?
Where do I live? I'm in Nevada City, which, as we all know, is not a city and not in Nevada. I live in an oxymoron. TreeSisters is global. My team is all over the world. We don't work anywhere. Okay. We work everywhere. And TreeSisters.org. We are planting in Madagascar, Nepal, Kenya, India, Brazil, and somewhere else. God only knows. Somewhere else. It's really beautiful, obviously. And our mission is to make giving back as normal as it is to take. And every single one of us, every time we flick on a switch, is heating our world. We know we're heating our world. And if we're not planting trees, if we're not doing something to suck that carbon out of the atmosphere right now, then we're saying it's fine to heat our world. And I don't think it's fine to heat our world when we're knowingly doing it, and we've knowingly done it for however many years since the Industrial Revolution. So I'm going to invite every single one of you to come and join us and sign up. If you give us $20 a month, we'll plant you something like 800 trees a year. We're planting in the tropics because that's what I was told to do, but also because these trees have no downtime. They sequester carbon 3 times as fast as temperate trees. And we're planting mangroves as well, which sequester another 30% on top of that. And all of our projects have extraordinary social stories. We're getting people out of slavery. We're stopping people starving. You know, they're stunning, stunning projects. And it has been an enormous learning curve for me to learn how to run an organization and how to work with women and how to do all the due diligence for these projects and how to the whole lot. Do not think that just because you've got a bright idea and you've no idea how to do it, that's an excuse. I knew absolutely nothing about how to do this when I had that car crash. Nothing. But life knows us way more than we know ourselves. If you have a burning idea, it's waiting for you. It's waiting to show you who you are, each and every one of you. We're like these seeds. We're like these seeds of brilliance. You have to water it with your willingness to show up. There's never been a more important time to show up. Like, this is why we're here. We're here for this time on this planet to show up, each and every one of us. And how do we do it? We do it holding hands. We do it in embrace. What will have us fall down is the fact that we're alone. And then we start believing in our own bullshit. But if you surround yourselves with people that see through your crap and see who you are, they won't let you believe your own bullshit. And more importantly, create a tribe around you that will help you bring whatever it is that's trying to birth through you. I've built a global sisterhood all around the world. I was terrified of women. It was the perfect thing. Now I love women. Thank God. Praise the Lord. Miracles happen. You know, and I now can get up on any stage anywhere and be the wailing banshee because I don't care anymore about any stuff. Why? Because I have so many women at my back. I couldn't do it alone. I can't do it alone. We're not supposed to do it alone. Anything. So find your support system. Yes, time out. Find your support system and discover how brilliant you are. And please sign up. Please become a Tree Sister. Please give us all your money. And we will plant it in the tropics for you, and then you'll feel really, really good. Thank you very much.